Kent, what's going on, brother?
What's going on?
Good to see you, man.
You too.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How you
man.
been?
An honor. I've been good.
Good. It's been out of the office. I saw you now. What? 2 times in 1 week?
Yeah, that's like
That's Tuesday. That's a record.
There must be like something happening in the universe right now. Moons are aligning.
That's it. How's everything going?
Everything's going good, man.
How's the baby? Not a baby
Well,
anymore.
Yeah, no, not a baby anymore. 8, but she's still always a baby.
Yeah. So is that one? Yeah.
Yeah,
Always
yeah.
a baby.
I try every day. I try to just soak up that day, like you know what I mean, like that moment in time. Like 8. What is 8 years old? You know, the things that she says, the way that she acts. You know, I just try to like suck that up and just like try to retain that.
Yeah,
you
'cause
know
the
what
next
I
thing you
mean?
know, you're dancing when they dance, you know,
Absolutely,
because they
man.
get married and it sucks. As much as
Yeah.
it's great, it sucks, yeah.
My brother's going through that stuff. Not the marriage part, but just the kids growing up and not needing him anymore. That actually, kids will always need you. You know?
Yeah, but you know, they don't. Even when they need you, they don't when they get to a certain age. It's
know.
like they don't want to be known that they need you.
I know.
So it's even worse. You got to do it and you don't even get credit for the shit. So it's like, but we were saying yesterday, talking about decisions, and we were watching Modern Family, me and Nina.
Yeah.
And there was an episode where the father wants to make some of the decisions, and they're like, "No, we're going to mom." That's how I feel all the time.
Yeah.
They don't come to me for shit.
Exactly.
And if I do give them advice, they don't even want it. It's
Well,
like
it takes
move
the
on.
pressure off you a little bit.
Yeah,
you know what I
it
mean?
does. Yeah. I'm, you know.
One less,
One less
graduate,
problem.
one less bill to pay.
That's right.
One less decision you have to make.
That's right.
you know?
One less decision. So let's get right down to it because where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Queens Village, New York.
Nice.
It's like kind of Jamaica, Queens Village area.
Okay.
You know, interesting place to grow up back in the day. We used to call it the land that time forgot.
Yeah.
Because it was like a very, I don't know, it just seemed like, you know, the people that, obviously a lot of people are gone from my era now, but growing up, like all the old school people that were there 50 years already, you know, it was just like it was an interesting place to grow up, like your average lower middle class neighborhood at the time.
Cops, firemen,
Cops, firemen,
construction guys, right?
Construction guys, yeah, all the above, you know.
That's fine.
And it was, so it was like your
Why
average.
didn't you go down? I always want to ask you this. Why didn't you go down the road like your brother and become a cop?
So interesting enough. So my upbringing was a little disjointed. You know,
Okay.
my father had 3 children way before me and my brother.
Sure.
And my brother, who was, you know, in law enforcement, was one of those kids. My father, you know, left that family when, you know, my half brother and 2 half sisters were 3, 2, and 1, and
Okay.
never came back ever again. Never
Oh, wow.
showed up ever again.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, just left, and that was it. Like 20-something years later, my brother, my half-brother, law enforcement officer, or retired now, he was 23 before the first time he met my father, you know?
Oh, wow. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, it was a weird, you know, dynamic.
You're the
where-
youngest?
I'm the youngest of 5, yeah. And, you know, even growing up, like, we had me and my brother, my full blood brother, who was 6 years older than me. Growing up, we had a sister that lived 5 houses down from us, and we had no idea this was our sister.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, absolutely no idea. And my father didn't talk to his daughter for tons of years. Like,
Wow.
lived 5 houses down. We didn't know, and he pretended like it
didn't
didn't
know.
exist.
Yeah.
It was the strangest upbringing.
That is strange.
It was really weird.
I've heard some strange shit, but that's strange.
Yeah, weird stuff like that.
Now I know why you fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I was going to ask you, are we allowed to curse on this?
Of course.
And aren't there cocktails on a podcast? You know what I mean? Talking about all this stuff, I might need a little drink here. You know what I mean?
Get a little weed drink or whatever it is now.
You know, just unwind and relax a little bit.
That's awesome.
But it's
all
interesting.
jokes.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because over the course, we've known each other now for 11 years, actually longer, 13 years.
Yeah,
because
probably
we've known
more.
each other for a couple years before I
That's
came over
right.
to KW.
It might even be longer than that.
It probably is. It's probably, you know, could be 15.
I don't even remember how we met. It's like the weirdest thing. How did we?
So we met, actually, you called me, a phone call. One day my phone rang.
Is that what it was?
Richard Amato. I'm like, I know this name. I'm not sure from where. and you're like, hey, it's Rich Amato from KW right down the block.
That's right,
You know,
let's
I'm
meet
like,
up.
Hey, what's going on? And you know,
Want to do lunch? No, I don't want to do fucking lunch.
no, yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, you know, I wasn't like at first, you know, I wasn't looking to make any moves in my life and things like that. But what happened was, the reason why I came over to KW, I had a series of events. I was going through a divorce. I was in a emotional state in my life where I was just like, you know, completely dissolved, you know what I mean, of everything.
Staying to that, was it Mike Adams that connected us? Or
It might have been. It might have been.
Or
There was
Kevin?
a lot of people that I knew, you know, just in the business. At that point, I'd been in the business 10 years, you know.
Yeah.
A little less than 10 years at that point when we first met. And right around the 10-year mark is when I decided to get into business with you. And the point being is, like, when I first met you, I recognized there was something in you. This is the weird part. There was something in you that reminded me of my brother in law enforcement.
Yeah, I remember we was talking about this.
And
right.
and one of the things that was, you know, I've been struggling with my whole life is the fact that, you know, my father was who he was, a very neglectful type of person, with myself as well. And he passed away when I was 14 years old. So there was neglect, and then there was complete, you know, felt like abandonment.
That's right.
And I never really I got to know my sister, who very well. We became like super tight. Like, my mom put that whole relationship together, and you know, my sister then became a huge part of my family at that part, and still is.
Well,
But my half brother, who was in law enforcement, not so much. And even it took years and years after my father passed away for us to connect. And again, it was my mom who connected my half brother and me and my brother.
I remember that.
And that side of the family. And I always had there was always like a void missing in my life.
I remember
you know?
talking to you back in the day when we used to coach with each other.
Yeah.
And I remember that.
Yeah.
Us talking about that.
It was like a void. It was like, how could you have a member of your family that's like blood to you, that's born from the same parent, yet you not know them, or you're not that always bothered me, you know? And, you know, that side of the family, you know, the three siblings on that side had their own relationships and would do things. And I was always envious of that, because our side of the family, me, my brother, my mom, that was it. My mom has no siblings. My mom has no relatives. We don't have any cousins. We don't have any, you know, but beyond that, it was just the three of us. So it always kind of made me feel bad. You know, it put me in like it felt like being abandoned still in a way. And also it made me like envious of like their relationships and stuff like that.
It's interesting. It's funny, not funny, but it's sort of this. I think I told you this. My father passed away, I think it was 4 years ago now. And me and him didn't have a great relationship either. You know, it was what it was. And I was one side of the law, he was the other side. And, you know, the whole, my old man was a degenerate gambler and all that shit. But I'll never forget it. It's kind of, this is fucking hysterical. I'm at the hospital, my father's on his deathbed. That's not the funny part. Right. But his old man's on his deathbed. My sister's sitting on one, my two sisters are sitting on one side, I'm on the other. And my sister Maz leans over and she goes, you know, Daddy had another daughter. What?
Wow.
And she's going on and on and on. And I said, why are you telling me this shit now? You know, well, you knew about this for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is. It's like, when did I know about this?
Yeah.
Remember when we had a WrestleMania party? I'm like, when did we ever watch wrestling? Like, you know, all of this shit. So I must have blacked out of my mind the time when I was 16, 17 years old up until, you know, a couple of years ago. So I said to my sister, why are you telling me this anyway? And she said, oh, she might pop up at the funeral.
Wow.
And I was like, awesome. Is she going to chip in? Because at the time,
exactly.
Does she have a lot of money? Apparently, and this is the funniest shit. Apparently, she's a real estate agent in either Long Island or Jersey. They didn't know.
Wow.
And then I meet Jen Nix, and I honestly thought that might be her.
Oh, my God.
She went through a similar story, and her last name was Amato.
Oh, my God.
And
Wow.
that's where the whole joke came in, was possibly a sibling. And I think she looks exactly like my other sister.
That's
height,
interesting.
everything is the same.
Have you gotten any of this verified through DNA?
No, she's not.
Genealogy.com?
Yeah, I
or
wish,
whatever?
but no, she's not. We might be related, but she's
Yeah.
not. Like, it was just really interesting because there was a point where I was like, it'd be pretty cool to have her as a sister. I
yeah.
love it at that. She's
Yeah.
awesome people. And she worked on apparently she was working on Long Island and it just never,
Right.
but you know me, Kent. I'm one of those guys that
Yeah.
leave me the fuck alone. I don't care.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't give a shit about that.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm not holding anything against the person, but
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's
I'm on the other side where doesn't matter. I don't need to know you.
at this age.
Yeah.
you
54
know,
years old, I got through life without
Yeah.
you. I can make the next whatever amount of time I have left without you too.
Yeah.
Maybe the next life, you know.
Exactly. It might be more trouble bringing
This shit
whole
over.
family
I
into
know.
the mix.
I have enough problems.
Yeah.
You know, you think of that.
Exactly.
But it's so I know we have a lot in common when it comes to not a lot in common, but there's some
Yeah.
commonalities in the way we grew up. So
Definitely.
you grow up in Queens Village,
Queens Village.
Jamaica area. What did growing up like? Where'd you go to school?
So growing up, I went to private school up until the second year of high school.
Okay.
Exactly when my father died, second year of high school, 14 years old. And
What school?
I went to Archbishop Malloy.
Oh, you
for
went
2
to Malloy?
years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to All Hallows
Oh, okay.
in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
They had a basketball team, right? And a baseball team.
Yeah.
They were really
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty popular for the basketball.
Malloy
and
was
baseball.
in Jackson Heights. if
It
I'm not-
was
no,
in
that was
Briarwood.
Briarwood.
So it's right on.
McClancy was in Jackson
like
Heights.
Jamaica, like right where the courthouses are,
Yes.
and like Kew Garden starts, like Briarwood. Right
Okay,
there, little
that's right.
triangle.
McClancy was Jackson Heights, I think, right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, Forest Hills, Jackson Heights,
Yeah,
along those
Malloy.
lines. Yeah, a little bit further.
I remember those were one of those schools that I didn't apply to that because I don't think they had a hockey team when I was playing.
Oh, okay.
It was
Yeah,
All Hallows Power.
yeah.
Because I went to school for sports, not to
Yeah,
learn.
yeah.
You know, so you went to Malloy for 2
Went
years.
to Malloy, and you know, at first I did great. I was doing great. Obviously, when a parent passes away at that age, you know, you certainly, I think, probably mentally destroyed.
Yep.
You know, even though I didn't really go through the emotional, it's almost like you said, blocking things out. There's a period of my life where I think I just blocked out, and later on in life, you know, it came back around to do a number on me.
Yeah.
And also then to be able to work it out at that point. But yeah, went there for 2 years. Got asked to leave because of, you know, grades and just performance because
Malloy
listen,
was Malloy,
this is what I was going through at the time. And, you know, so wound up going to
Malloy was a tough school to get into too, right?
yeah. I mean, I was happy that I got into there. I probably just went there because my other friends were going there.
Where'd you go to grade school?
I went to grade school at American Martyrs School, which is on Lower Bayside, basically Hollis Hills.
Was it Catholic or
Catholic
school?
Catholic grade school, private school.
We had the same upbringing.
Yeah, yeah.
The shit smacked out of us, and
Never, no.
You didn't have
no.
that?
We used to actually
Well, you're
run,
younger than me,
wreak
so-
havoc. We 6, 7 years.
we took the
younger.
brunt of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we used to wreak havoc.
They all went to jail for the beatings
People
they
were
gave
scared
us.
of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
You know, we used to send teachers. I feel bad these days. Like if I can go back in time and change things, we used to send teachers out of the room crying.
Oh, we did
You
that.
know,
too.
nuns and everything.
Yeah.
know,
Nuns,
because
not
of
so
our
much.
behavior,
Other
know.
teachers, yeah, we did that. Nuns, we got our asses kicked from. But
Yeah.
We knew our limits.
Yeah.
That's just I miss that shit so much, though.
Oh man.
Grade school, if I go back, I would have a ball.
No, you know, grade school. I would, if I could go back anywhere, I would go back to age.
High school?
No. 18 or 19. High school, grade school wasn't that. It was okay. It was cool, like friends and stuff like that. High school was okay. I never really got to know people in high schoul. It was just after that when I went to public school, then I was going to Martin Van Buren in Queens Village, right on the border of Queens Village and Belrose. I never really spent too much time in the school if I didn't have to.
Yeah.
You know, I graduated. I did what I had to do. I had actually extra credits. I showed up to a funny story.
An extra credit.
You know, I'm like a mechanical type of person.
Yeah.
My mind is like a mechanical thing. So I signed up for a shop class. And I show up to the shop class, and the teacher looks at me, and he's like, I think you're in the wrong place. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, look around. I mean, and he was just like, the kids in this class, they're not exactly, you know,
Up to
I
par,
think
yeah.
you could do a little bit better. So basically is what he's telling me. And I'm like, I'd love to learn whatever you got to teach me. Like, what do you got going on? He's like, I got a deal for you. You see that room over there across the way? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what's in that room? He's like, there's like 5,000 chairs in there. It's like an asbestos-filled room. I come to think later on in life. He's like, here's your project. You already passed this class. Go over there and the whole semester, organize that room over there. And when you're done, do whatever you want to do. And you already got the credit for this class.
That's awesome.
So it was a combination of, and I also did that at a certain point because when I would say if I could take it back to any age, it'd be like right around that 17, 18 years old, because that's when music really started to take off for me. I got into music at a very young age. I got into, when I was 10 years old. I went to see the Ramones. So that's a weird thing about growing up in Queens Village.
Yeah.
Weird thing about growing up in Queens Village, it was a very music-based neighborhood. I don't know why. There was Beggar's Opera, which was a club right on Jamaica Avenue and like 215th, 214th Street, where like Twisted Sister used to play back in the day. There was the Queens Village Theater, which was like used to be like a peep show theater. It was like a huge place. And it was, but then it turned into like a rock club. And then there was
Lemoyne's there too? No.
No, that was in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, that's right.
But right down the block from both of these places, there was Our Lady of Lourdes Gymnasium. There was a Catholic grade school that used to put on concerts there, like every week. Metal concerts, punk rock concerts, and everything in between. When I was 12 years old, me and my brother got me tickets. My brother's 6 years older. He's 18, I'm 12. And the Ramones are playing there.
Oh, wow.
That changed my life. That changed my whole trajectory of the next, many years of my life. Many years, even today. So went there when I was 12 years old, saw the Ramones, blown away, and that changed my whole life. From there, I think I came home. That was in August, whatever. By October is when, I was like, that's it, I'm starting a band.
What'd you play?
Guitar.
Guitar.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you did.
Play guitar, play bass, play drums, play keyboards now. I'm working on that. But it was an escape.
Can you read music or you can't?
I cannot read a lick of music. Always tried, but I'm just...
Everything's by sound and...
Yeah, everything's by ear, by sound, by feel, things like that. And a little bit of, today it's YouTube, a little bit of YouTube.
Sure.
What is that part? And you go on YouTube, you figure it out, and then you can figure out the rest. But
It's funny,
music changed my life.
When Nina was younger, she bought her a little drum set.
Yeah.
And she's the same way as you. She can't read it, but she can play for some reason.
Yeah.
She's really good at it.
Yeah.
She can play the guitar. She can play this. She can play the drums. And one of the songs I asked her to play was Run to the Hills.
Nice.
So she would hear it. And I
awesome.
was amazed by this 8-year-old kid playing Run to the Hills. Boom, boom,
She
boom.
told me, man.
Yeah.
She
plays.
I brought a little drum set, and she could have rocked out
And
today.
I remember just sitting there going, I can't believe I got a kid that could play drums at 8 years old, Run to the Hills.
That's
I can't
awesome.
play a sound,
Yeah.
I got a little Nico McBrain on my hands.
Yeah, exactly.
And then did you grow up with Murphy's Law? We talked about this.
So that's a big part of...
Drescher and a little...
Yeah, so that's
I
a
grew up
big
with
part
them.
of when I got into music at 12, started a band at 12. By 14, when my father passed away, that's when I started touring around the tri-state area, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, down to Virginia, up over to Maryland, to D.C., to New Jersey, all over Rhode Island and things like that. My brother, who's at this point, he's 19, 20, I'm 14 years old, we jump in a van and we just, every weekend, man, we're just
going
at it,
grind, yeah.
We're just having fun, seeing the world, having all kinds of experiences, great experiences. And then that was the escape, and then from 14 to many, many years later, I was touring the world, and that's how I met, Murphy's Law and guys like Jimmy and things like that.
That's so funny.
And that's how I got to know those guys, through needing an escape.
Have you talked to him
music.
lately?
I'm going to see him in a couple weeks for his birthday, actually.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm sure if you mention my name, he'll remember me.
We're playing a gig. I'm going to.
Yeah.
We're playing a gig on his birthday.
I was good friends with his
our band and his band. Yeah.
with Billy.
Right.
I was really
Yeah.
good. I grew up with Billy.
Yeah, yeah.
And Jimmy took me to my first rock concert at Judas Priest.
That's right. I'm going to mention that.
Yes, I was I think we were like 12 or 13, and I'm sitting
Felt
there.
Forum? Is that where it was?
No, I was at the Garden.
At the Garden. Okay.
When they burnt the seats, I was just showing that. So, and we covered the stage with when Rob Halford came out on the bike.
Nice.
And they're burning the seats and they're throwing them on the stage. I thought it was the coolest thing.
Oh,
And
man.
I'm like, I can't believe my mother, like years
Right.
later, sent me out with this psycho.
Exactly.
Jimmy to watch
Right.
us. You know?
And that's how I felt with like doing what I was doing in music. Like I can't believe I'm doing this stuff, right? Whatever I was doing, you know,
So,
at age 14 and 15 and 16.
You should remember me because I'm on his Facebook friend. So, you know,
I'm gonna see him in a couple
not
weeks.
that
I'm
he doesn't have
definitely gonna
1,000 of friends, you know.
Yeah.
But it was me, Mark Ciros, Billy Drescher, and those guys. Did you know Billy Drescher or no?
No,
You don't know
no.
those
I know
guys?
him by name, but I don't
Okay.
know him by.
He was a psycho too. He was them, and then who was the other ones? Beastie Boys.
Oh yeah.
That was the other group,
Yeah.
right? They came out of Brooklyn or Queens?
I think Brooklyn. I think those guys are. So I have like really cool experiences like with those guys too, right? So
What was it? Mike D was out of his mind, if I
Mike
remember.
D, Ad Rock,
That's right.
MCA. So funny story. So like the music thing really, I think, built a confidence in me that I didn't have at a young age. You know, where at a certain point I played in a band. This other band, who's a pretty well-known band, this band Warzone. Right?
Was it?
Warzone?
Okay.
If you're into the hardcore punk rock genre of music,
You would know them.
you would know this. And this is like a staple band that now has influenced basically like the world of music, the world of heavy music from this point forward. So this band was the type of band that had a rotation of guitar players, drummers, bass players. And at 17 years old, from 17 to 19, I played with this band.
Oh, wow.
And because I was around, this is what I did from when I was 12 years old. I was the kid, the 14-year-old kid in CBGBs and everybody else is
CBGBs
20
is
years
the one I
old.
was thinking
You
of,
know,
yeah.
I was the kid who's hanging out at 14 and 15 in the bar, and everybody else is like drinking, and I'm there just hanging out and getting to meet people and absorbing things and things like that. So later on, I'm playing CBGBs with Warzone. So we're outside, and all these guys from the Lower East Side and the punk rock community, all these guys grew up together. Beastie Boys and punk rock, Murphy's Law and Warzone and all these, you know, the Cro-Mags and all these bands and stuff like that. And so I'm hanging out with the Warzone guys. We're hanging out. We're going over the set list out front. And all of a sudden, the singer Ray says, "Hey, Kent, I want you to meet my friend, Adam." And I look over, and it's MCA, Adam Yao.
Oh, wow.
From the Beastie Boys. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on, man? What's up?"
Yeah.
So
They already hit it at this time.
oh, they were they were past Paul's Boutique. First, it was Licensed to Ill.
That's right.
Then it was Paul's Boutique.
So they were past that.
Yeah, so they were past that, and they were probably, this is right before Check Your Head was released, and Check Your Head is when they really broke into like the mainstream. They had already broken into the mainstream with Licensed to Ill, dipped down a little bit with Paul's Boutique, and then really broke into a whole new thing with like Lollapalooza and all that stuff.
When did they break up? When they just stopped playing?
They
Were they still playing?
played sporadically until
What's his name? Passed,
MCA
right?
passed
That's
away.
right.
But at that show, so
They didn't play ever since? Or?
no, they did like a tribute thing here and there.
Okay.
You know, just like I think they did like whether they were maybe inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame possibly, and they did something
Crazy
for
that we
that.
know people that were in that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And so at that show, meet MCA hanging out. I'm like, it's one of the Beastie Boys, man. This is cool. I'm like,
royalty.
again, I'm 17 years old. You know what I mean? And this is an international, rock star. So we're playing our set, we're doing our thing, and MCA's right there in the front singing the lyrics to the songs, and I'm like, this is sick,
awesome.
man. I'm on guitar, I'm playing,
And
I'm
he's-
the band. And this dude, who's an international
He's a
rock
fan.
star, singing the songs. You know what I mean?
That's
Like, this
awesome.
is sick, dude. Like, I've made it. I totally made it. You know
Throw
what
him
I
your
mean?
pick.
Yeah, that's it. They throw him a pick. Yeah.
Want me to sign that?
Let me sign that autograph for you. You know?
That's awesome.
So cool experiences like that,
So when did that lead to real estate?
So I got into real estate in 2004. I was working for.
Before we go there, because I got to ask this because Karen would kill me if I didn't. Did you know John? You didn't play with him?
No, I knew the name of the band, Hitman from back in the day. Because I was always into like punk rock music, metal music, things like that. And
They
my
were more
brother
with the
Beatle.
mating group, I guess.
Yeah, they
right?
were more like that kind of
Twisted Sister.
Twisted Sister type of vibe. You know what I mean? And I was getting more into the punk rock stuff because it was a more of an underground. It was
right.
more attainable. Punk rock was more attainable. I could do it. You could do it. You know what I mean? We can get in on the ground floor of something and build something big. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where that world was already
Right.
started
Where,
with Priest, Maiden.
try to be Priest, try to be Maiden. Good luck, kid. You know what I mean?
Anthrax.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even Anthrax, I think you can go either way with the
Yes.
on that side.
Yeah,
right? You can go
they
the punk
kind of
side
like
or the
teetered that thrash music where
That's
it was
right.
like a little bit hardcore punk rock and a little bit,
Metal.
Metal.
That's
you know what
right.
I mean?
It's really interesting how we again the way we all grew up. It's really interesting, and just watch that. So again, when did you get into real estate?
2004.
Okay.
So
right around the same time you and I.
yeah. It's kind of funny. So I was laid up pneumonia for like a month, right? I was working, busting my hump, working like 15-hour days for a vending company at the time. So I'm driving a truck into Brooklyn. I'm a solo man operation. I'm hauling cases of soda and things off the trucks and bringing them up 10 flights of stairs and down and things like that. Work myself like crazy to the point where I work myself sick. I'm in bed now for a month with pneumonia. And what is there to do? Just chill out and relax. So I'm like taking advantage of it. Let me catch up on a bunch of TV. So I'm doing that. And if you remember back in the day, Carlton Sheets, no money down, real estate.
Yeah, that's
do you
right.
remember that guy?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Infomercial. Like every 5 minutes there was an infomercial.
That's right. That's so funny you said that.
So I see this and I'm like, and I grew up in a home. For what it's worth, like I'm regardless of my crazy disjointed family,
Still at a house and a family.
the lack of interaction with my father and parents or whatever. I always felt safe in a house. I had a backyard. There was always it was like your place.
Good, yeah.
You always feel comfortable there. So seeing this real estate makes sense to me. I grew up in a home. I understand the value of it. I understand the importance of it. I understand how someone feels when they're in a home, when they have a home. God forbid if they don't, or in their worst position. So I saw this no money down course. I ordered the course after looking at the infomercial every 5 minutes for 30 days while I'm laid out with pneumonia. And
You meet at Escobar at that point.
not too long after that. So I read the course, and it makes absolutely no goddamn sense to me. Excuse my French. But one thing that I took away from the course is the one thing that I took away was if you want to be in real estate as a real estate investor, get licensed as a realtor, get licensed as a real estate salesperson. So that's what I did. Right around now, this is now
So you're looking to get in the
3
investment
4
side.
years later. Yeah. So I'm looking to get into the investment side because I understand the value of real estate, how real estate is a
Imagine
long-term
if we
investment.
all did that at this time, where 2003, 2004, imagine we bought up everything these people told us to buy up
Right.
at the prices they had. I only bought a few of them up.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
It's amazing, right?
Unbelievable. And still today, go buy something today. 20, 30 years from now,
It's going to be the same shit.
yeah, it's going to be the same deal.
That's right. It's insane.
Right.
It really is insane why people just don't, even ourselves, I'm starting to do a little bit more because I've been in the business for a while. But it's amazing to me how nobody just picks up and does that.
I think it's a territory that's very unfamiliar to people. Like I feel like they think it's a big risk and they're not willing to educate themselves.
I guess so.
It does take a lot of education.
It does.
It takes a tremendous amount of education
But
and
does it?
risk tolerance. You have to be a risk tolerant person.
But think about it, Ken. As long as you have the money to support it, and I guess that's where the risk comes in.
Right.
Obviously, it's easier for me to say it at this age of my life now. But back in the day when we were coming up, there was no money down. You could actually take money out of the closing when we were first coming up, and you own a house, in Astoria.
Yeah.
I did that a few times.
Yeah.
Bought houses in the city and stuff like that. So imagine just constantly doing that, but instead of selling them and flipping them, you just held on to them and just rented them like we were doing. The fortune.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And my aunt always told me back in the day, whatever you buy, don't sell it.
Right.
And of course I listened and I didn't do that. I did the opposite. I'm not complaining about
Right. It
happened
brought
in
you
life.
to the certain place, and then
Correct.
you took that and you
And
moved
you
on with
built
different
it, yeah.
investment. Yeah.
And it's now it's just like, okay, because people are asking me, why are you doing it this way? So I'm buying stuff and I'm putting it under the kids' names. So Nina, Nikki, Danny, and Erica, and we're doing it in that way where anything I'm buying, I'm just going to throw in their name because. And somebody said to me, "Why are you doing that?" Because I'll sell the fucking thing.
Yeah.
I don't
right.
have the patience to hold on.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like
Yeah.
somebody offers me a certain amount, I'll just sell it.
Right.
So in this case, I can't. This is for the kids, and we're building a kids
Yeah.
portfolio up.
Absolutely.
It's it's one of the things that just makes it easier for me. But I keep going back to that point, 1999, 2000.
Right.
When you go back,
This
I
is
bought
right where I'm thinking about it as well.
I'm sure you are, because
Yeah.
that's when everybody started thinking about it, where the world is taking off. And I caught it, like when I caught it, it wasn't the low. I
Right.
caught it, where we bought our first townhouse, Diana and I, up in Brewster. I think it cost me $150.
This was like right around that time was like the first doubling
That's right.
of values.
You're right.
Like the first clear, like it's been like 10 years and property values have doubled.
That's right.
What's the future gonna be?
So
Right around this time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we buy our first house, I think in '97. By 2000, we sell it. So I end up retiring from the police department. I got my 3/4 and I retire. And security company, we sell that townhouse and we buy a house because we're anticipating now having a family and getting out of the townhouse was a 2 or 3 bedroom, whatever it is. So we're getting a bigger home. And we bought this beautiful house in like on the tip of Mayapack and Katona, I guess over there, or Somers.
Yeah.
We doubled within 3 years. Wow. We doubled the price that we paid. So let's say we paid $150, $160, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We sold for like little under double, $290, $299, right around there. Bought this other house, and I remember bringing it to the table because I was playing cards that night and telling people what I was paying. They're like, "You're right, you're fucking mine."
Right.
But it had
Right.
it was a Center Hall Colonial, custom made Center Hall Colonial. I bought it from asphalt guy,
Okay.
big friggin' Irish dude, and he had a guest house on the property. It was just like an estate. It was huge. It was just me and the wife at the time. My bedroom was the size of this office. Like it was not this office, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was you could land the freaking jet. It was 1,000 square feet. My bedroom.
Nice.
And guess what happened 2 years after that? Baby's born. We're ready to move on. We now have this brilliant idea. We're going to move to Queens, like Malibu Gardens, wherever it is. So we sell the house there. We doubled up, a little under doubling. Bought the house in Queens and got a REO or some shit like that. 2 years to the day, we can't live here with the kids.
Right.
We end up doubling again, and
Yeah.
and now we're at the. And then after we bought that house, 2 weeks if we would have stayed.
And that's what, like now 2008 or something, 2009?
right around there.
that time. Yeah.
Right around
Huge
that time.
appreciation right before the
And then it crashed.
right before the implosion.
Exactly. And it was literally 2 weeks after I buy my next house, the house in Westchester, after I buy that home. And I remember somebody saying to me, "You just lost 20 to 25%. I was like, "No, I didn't, because I'm not selling."
Yeah, right. This is a
now,
long-term thing. Yeah.
Correct. And now you're looking, not doubled, but pretty much did okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I sell it tomorrow, it's pretty okay, and you're able to own it outright. So I think we were lucky if you took advantage. I just wish I took advantage more
Absolutely.
of the situation and just kept buying, homes after homes after homes and doing it the way my aunt taught me. So you get into it because of, try to go off track here.
No, it's true. Like if you could take what you know today and reverse time and go back,
right.
in a time capsule, the
What would
things
you do?
What would you do?
And, some of the times I answer the same question is I would probably do the same thing over and over because, again, like you said, it got me to where I am today.
Right.
And without that, I wouldn't be here. It could be totally different. And I like where I'm at right now, so
Right.
I'm in a good place.
Exactly.
Right, and I'm sure you are too, because everything really goes into that,
Yeah.
planning when you're doing this.
Absolutely.
But it's so interesting. So you end up getting into the business. Take me through that now. So you're looking to get into investing, but you end up.
So I say, I take away from that course, hey, I have to get licensed as a realtor. All right, so I go through the process, 2004. I get licensed in September 2005.
Okay.
I hang my license with, basically the local real estate company that comes down to the licensing course and like gives a presentation. I'll go with these guys, who I was with for 10 years. And during that part, I remember it was year one. It was probably month 10, I think. It was right before year one, where the office manager at the time calls me in. It's like a Monday morning, and says, you have two choices. Either take your license somewhere else or sign up for this sales course that's coming up in the next couple weeks. And I'm like, really? He's like, I'm serious. He's like, it's 10 months. You haven't done any transactions. You haven't done anything. Again, I'm coming from,
Playing in a band.
Playing in a band, being a punk rock weirdo for
Naked on stage
my whole,
to this.
yeah, for my first, 25 years of my life, 26 years of my life, to now being an entrepreneur.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't happen overnight like that. It doesn't click overnight. So I decided, well, I guess I got no choice. I just got to take this sales course, and that's when I met Ed Escobar.
That's so funny.
2005, 2006, actually.
Sweat Hogs.
Yeah.
And what happens then?
So from that point,
Were you with him when he was with
No, this was after.
who was the other who was his partner?
Floyd Wickman.
Floyd.
So he had
What was it? 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
2 steps.
Real estate selling real estate is like dancing.
Yeah,
Remember that?
this is true.
Yeah,
It is
2
true.
steps forward, 1 step back.
Definitely, it's a dance for sure.
Remember
A
that?
contact sport, like
That's right.
like everybody says. Yeah. And so it's funny. For the first 10 years, I did real estate the hard way, the hardest way you possibly could. And I think it was me, the way I grew up, trying to prove something to either myself or someone else, I don't even know who, that I could do it, but I'm going to do it the hard way. So rather than where everybody is coaching you to get in touch with your sphere of influence, rely on the people past experiences, past contacts, past businesses that you may be affiliated with. I didn't do any of that first 10 years. Throw that out the window.
Yeah.
Well, I'm good. And I went straight for the for sale by owners. I went straight for the expired listings. I went straight for the door knocking. And that was my business solely for the first 10 years. I don't think I did a transaction with anybody that I personally knew from my previous life until year 11, based upon the fact that I was like what they call a secret agent. I didn't let anybody in my sphere know that I was, heavily involved in real estate now, 10 years in, and all my business. But there's something in that where I did it the hard way, and I developed a business.
That's right.
And now 20 years later, I'm still here. You know what I mean?
Still doing it.
And so I made it happen. So there's a lot of being able to prove I could do it in that too. Did I necessarily do it the easiest way? I did not, because now my business is all sphere based only. My book of business, I will only do business. I will only do real estate business with people that I love, know, and trust, and that love, know, and trust me. And that's not, like my cousin Joe and my, my brother. It's my past book of business from 20 years that's referred me time and time and time again. It's the business has changed. I've changed a lot with the business.
It's interesting.
I've
right?
changed a tremendous. Where over the pandemic, right? Pandemic years were like the best years in real estate. I know I'm skipping ahead, but pandemic is like when I started changing my mentality and what I wanted as I started growing mentally, emotionally, whatever. And so I needed to.
What made you change? Was it the baby? Was it,
So a couple different things. One thing a defining moment I could tell you, which happened about 3 years ago, was, and again, I've always done well in real estate. Very blessed to work with the clients I've worked with, have the clients I have today that I have, I feel very blessed. 3 years ago, my wife said to me the best compliment that that my wife ever gave me. She said, "I don't like you very much when you're in real estate mode." And it's the best compliment that she could have ever given me, because when she said that to me right away, it clicked. I knew what she was talking about, and it clicked for me because I didn't like myself that much when I was in real estate mode. It was, I started becoming this person that was very...
Asshole?
Yeah, not an asshole, but like I can relate it this way. Sometimes as husbands, and if you're married to your spouse, like I know for myself, my personality is, maybe it's the way I grew up. I don't like conflict. And if there is conflict, I have to resolve it right away. I can't walk out of the room without resolving that conflict. I can't leave the conversation without resolving that conflict. And so I took that same mentality, I developed now into like this monster of that mentality where I'm going to settle everything right here and then. And sometimes I had to get a little,
Gotta win.
sometimes, yeah. And you know what? I brought that mentality, that personality home with me.
That's
some of the
interesting,
time. I brought that home with me. I didn't know how to regulate that mentality. After 17 years you're talking about. I've developed this mentality where now I'm carrying this personality around with me everywhere. I'm bringing it home. I'm bringing it, to family and things like that. And my wife said to me, I do not like when you're in real estate mode. Like you are not.
So how'd you get out of it?
A lot of soul searching, man. A lot of soul searching. Like what is it? And my wife also backed it up with saying like, all I want for you is for you to be happy, She said, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you do this and it makes you happy. If you do something, I don't care if you work at
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy and keeps us happy, like as a family, that's all I care about. And that was
working at McDonald's would be happy.
Yeah,
Can you go for that?
Yeah, not bad.
Bad Big Mac every day, fries.
Absolutely, man. People happy meal.
There you go, Happy Meal.
That's what they call it, the Happy Meal.
Can't beat that. Yeah.
So, I started to try to figure out like, what is it that's making me unhappy? And to be quite honest with you, what it was is that I'm the type of person.
Being partners with you.
Exactly. Having to see you very occasionally now. No, that's actually the fun part. That's actually the fun part.
Awesome.
And the fun part for me, and what's not fun, is that I'm the type of person, like, dude, I love you. I love you like a brother.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I don't think that'll ever change. You know what I mean? When I get into a relationship with somebody, I'll do anything for them. If you call me midnight and say, meet me in this dark alley, bring a shovel, I'll just be like, do you need a shovel too or just me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So a lot of the clients, I told you about working the hard way, a lot of the clients that I was working with, that people that I would help, I would get into a relationship. I'm a relationship person. I would get into a relationship with that person. And then just like a lot of people out there in the world, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of personalities.
Right.
They would abandon me after the transaction. I would still be there to keep in touch. Hey, how's it going? What's going on down there, Virginia, North Carolina, wherever you are, whatever. And people would just
that's crazy.
And not abandon me because I did a bad job, because they praised with accolades, and reviews, but they moved on, and I don't move on. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a good thing. Good and bad.
Good and bad. It's bad if you're an entrepreneur in a business that's people are going to leave you. People are going to move on. Not everybody's going to stick with you. And that's where I decided, like, I'm going to switch my business. Well, first of all, I had a new business idea from an experience that happened to me a few years prior to that. But I decided this is where I'm going to change, and I'm going to utilize what works best for me in my business. And I know there's going to be a little bit of a shift as far as the business coming in or lack thereof because of the way I'm changing things, but I'm only going to do business with people that love and trust me, and vice versa, based upon the fact that they, beyond the shadow of a doubt, have every trust in me in the world that I can get the job done, of course, and I can, and that I'm just going to be always there for that person. I'll give you an example. I have a client that I met a year and a half ago, Lorraine. Lorraine is a special person. Like, I work with some special people. Lorraine is a referral from my babysitter from when I was a kid.
Wow.
Right? That's still like her parent still lives on the block where I grew up. And she got in touch with me about 5 years ago out of the blue, found me on Facebook and said, Kent, do you remember me? This is Denise. I used to babysit you when you were like 5 years old. And I'm like, oh my God, Denise. Like, I was wondering what happened to, like, where is everybody? What happened to everybody on the block? Because I had been moved out for so many years. My mom still lived there on the block for a while. But she then introduced me to Lorraine a year ago. Lorraine is just such a special person that when I was speaking to Lorraine the other day, you know, we get off the phone and she's like, Kent, I love you. I'll talk to you later. I love you too, Lorraine. I'll talk to you later, you know? And like, this is the relationship I want to have with people, you know? I want to be able to help people. And I'm an emotional guy. So sometimes that abandonment piece doesn't sit well with me. So what I had done in this last 3 years, based upon an experience that happened that 8 years ago, was shift my business into a totally different sector of home inspection. Because there was an experience 8 years ago.
Let's get into that in a second, because I'm definitely going to get into that. Well, let's stay in, because I want to stay online and traction here, right?
Yeah.
Or in line with everything to get leading up to that. So you go from Lafayette to Keller,
Yep.
right? And that was, what year did we get together?
This is going back now 11 years, so we're 2025, so we're looking at...
2015, 14?
But
You were one of my first partners, right?
Yeah.
You were one of the originals.
Yep.
You're an OG, right? You're like...
Yep. 2014, 15, yeah.
Was that 14, 15?
I think it was 14.
Okay, and then you go through this whole thing like you were talking about. You go through these transitions, and you're moving on, and going in different angles, and it's always about real estate. And you're going through the real estate world.
Yeah.
What, as you're growing into it, what's going through your mind as you're going through all of these transactions and doing all of this business, and now you're a partner in a business. You're engaged. You're engaged into the business. You're working hard, and now you got a little bit more responsible, right? Because you're working with agents and all of that. So what's going through your mind from the first 10 years to your next 10? Like, what's the difference between it?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does. What happened for me is that I think I developed from the training and the training experience that I was involved in with Sweat Hogs and Ed Escobar and some other trainers. I realized
you were heavy into that.
Yeah. I was training with Sweat
right.
Hogs. I got the opportunity to be a trainer with Sweat Hogs for a short time, which was amazing, which was an honor. It's like meeting MCA from the Beastie Boys and him,
That's right.
singing your songs as you're up on stage. You know what I mean? It feels like that,
Yep.
To me. What I think I realized is that I can't do it alone, because real estate could be a very lonely business. You can sequester yourself from others in the way of, it's an entrepreneurial business. So sometimes you feel like, oh, I could do it on my own. This is an independent contractor type of business. It's me. It's just me. I'm gonna lift all these heavy rocks up the hill. I don't need anybody else. And I already have a personality like that. I want to get something done. I'm gonna try to get it done before anybody else gets to get involved, just because it saves them the work, and I know that I'm doing it the way that I envision it, right?
Would you consider yourself a perfectionist, or?
Yeah, in a way. I know when to put the artist pen down to a certain extent, because I know my limitations, but I definitely am obsessive about certain things, which makes me a bit of a perfectionist in that way.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I realized within this training experience and meeting new people like yourself and like the whole KW crew, and actually learning from you guys, that was a big turning point. And I always tell one story about Margaret in our market center, is that I realized I couldn't do it alone, and that other people can't do it alone either. And that sometimes there's power in numbers, and there's power in community, and that there's power in culture, you know what I mean? And that this is where I started getting more into the, really that helping, that caring part of me, that like with my clients, I want to help these people. I want to come from contribution. I want to be a big part of this. And I never want it to end, I want us to be in a relationship forever. And then when I came over to KW, I realized there's not many places like this, and it actually does happen here. It actually does happen. And then obviously with you guys, I remember I walked into the market center. It was like my first week at the old market center on Hillside Avenue, and I was there, sat down, and I asked Annabelle, and I said, the website and this and the database and stuff, how do I get that going? And all of a sudden, Margaret walked over, And Margaret said, "Oh, you need help with that? Let me sit down with you." Margaret was sitting there with me for 3 to 4 hours in the training room in old KW office. 3 to 4 hours. And at the end of 3 or 4 hours, after I basically had all my questions answered and then some, I turned to Margaret and I said, "Margaret, thank you so much. Like, obviously you do this every day. This is your position here. Like, your position is to train all these agents." And she's like, "No, I'm just an agent here. I'll see you later. Like, good luck. If you have any more questions, let me know." And like, I walked over to Annabelle and I'm like, "Margaret's not like the company-wide trainer for this?" Like, she's like, "No, she's an agent here, just like you." And I'm like, she just took 3 or 4 hours of her day, you know, and sat down with me and just came from contribution and just helped me. I never forgot. I tell that story to a lot of people. A lot of people that are coming into KW, I tell that story.
It's a great story.
Because I really do feel like there's a major culture difference between like what we have going on and what a lot of other people have going on. I think outside, it could feel lonely to people.
Yeah.
I think we were having this conversation a couple months ago. Outside of some, you know, the right culture, it can feel really lonely in the business.
No, you're right.
You feel really
100%.
sequestered.
That's really interesting. So what would let me see, what is like for you? What's the key like to all your successes? Like what was the main key to it?
You know, it's funny you ask that because I really still feel like I have not figured it out 100% yet. I have and I haven't. I always like to say, I don't know if I want to figure it out all at once because, you know, I feel like, listen, if you grew up how I did, a lot of people and friends included just, you know, passing away, you know, of all sorts of things and, you know, a lot of abandonment and death in my life over the years, like seriously. And the music thing contributes to that too, by the way. You know, living that lifestyle.
Of course.
A lot of people didn't make it out of there, you know. I like to say that I don't want to figure it out all at once because I figure if you figure it out,
you're done.
Universe is going to take you out, man. And I don't want to figure it out until I'm old and gray. I want to keep discovering. Awesome. But the secret to my success, I think, is working on my emotional part, working on my mental part, trying to break free of, you know, my like feeling like I had some shortcomings in life where they actually were not shortcomings. They were just things that happened to me that I needed to put different perspective on. I needed to work those things out of my mind. I needed to find the answers on that. And when I did, this is when I started really appreciating what this business has to offer and what like my future businesses have to offer as well, just in the form of happiness. It was about finding happiness within myself. If I could find the happiness within myself, everything else will follow. And that's really the truth. Like I think for everything in life, whether you're playing sports, whether you want to write a book tomorrow, whether you want to start a podcast, is if you're happy doing what you're doing, you'll find a reason to do it more and more, and you'll find a reason to even obsess over it in a healthy way. You know what I mean? Like you are an extremely focused person. You know, it's funny. Another reason why, just to go off on a little tangent here, one reason why I think me and you get along so well, and why we got into a relationship, or I was willing to say, you know what, let me form a relationship with this guy. Like he's a genuine guy, was because I think, like I touched on before, the lack of relationship with my brother. He has a lot of similarities with you as far as background, law enforcement, and stuff like that. And the fact that I wanted to form that relationship, there was a trust. There was a trust there
between us, yeah.
You know, and it was about getting to a better place. Actually, you know what? Since me and you have been in business and relationship together and friends, I actually have a better relationship with my brother now. I swear to God, there's a weird dynamic where I was able to actually get closer to my brother, where today, you know, and my brother's the best of guys, just like you know, but there's a lot of weird hurt there, you know.
I remember that. I remember we were sitting down talking about
a father that abandons one side of the family, starts a new family, And that person thinks, oh, this abandoned him for them. No, like we're abandoned too. You know what I mean? Like, but there's a weird dynamic where you don't get close, and it's a lot of tension there. And so something between our relationship and our friendship
Helped you build
was
that.
able to actually get me closer to my brother. So I appreciate that, man.
You're welcome.
You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So you get through the real estate, you're killing it there, doing really well, and then you decide to open up.
Home inspection business. So this is going back 3 years. It really goes back 8 years.
Okay.
So 8 years ago,
What made you, and I know you're going to say it right now, but what made you want to do a home inspection business? Just so you could help more?
obsession.
Okay.
Because 8 years ago, I moved into a house. I was renting a house in Suffolk County, south, right on the water, like a couple blocks away from the water. Moved in there because I was moving east because my mother-in-law at the time was sick. She was dying.
Mm-hmm.
We needed to be closer to her. We were moving out from Queens. Our daughter was 6 months old at the time, 8 months old, not more than that. Moved into this house at around 10 months, right when the weather started changing from August to September. Things are a little, and down there it was damp as heck all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I still live in the neighborhood, but now I live the other side of the neighborhood. Damp as heck. Humidity is constant, day and night, all year long. All of a sudden, I'm cleaning the house one day. I pull up the cushions for the couch, and there was mold all underneath the cushions of the
I
couch.
actually remember this. Yep.
I started, I call my wife, I'm like, did you spill like formula? Because my daughter's 8 months old, 6 months old. I'm like, did you spill formula on the couch and like you just flipped over the cushion so that you could sit on the dry side and we didn't dry it? What? She's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm like, okay. So then I'm looking further, and then I get my flashlight and I look under the couch and I'm like, holy moly, mold growing just
Like
on
The
all
Last
the
of Us or
fabric.
something like that?
Yeah, dude. Like
Not bad.
the fabric of the couch. Then I start to be like, wait a second, that mold that I found on my leather shoes in the closet, let me go back to that closet. So
Holy
I
shit.
go back to that closet, I look in there and I'm like, and I, open up like the clothes in the closet. And I'm like, holy cow. Like all my clothes are just like molded, like as on the back of the closet there.
Wow.
I go into the next room and I look at the louver doors and I'm like, holy, that's mold right there. Like, this sucks. I don't know what, because since the day that we lived there 10 months, from day one until the end of the 10th month that we lived there, my daughter had ear infections and throat infections at 6 months old until she was, 10 months later now, almost a year and a half. Every month. She was on antibiotics for 10 months straight.
Wow.
She was sick constantly. And you're talking about, this is my daughter, and I'm a new father. I don't know what the heck's going on. I'm scared for my life. You know what I mean? This kid's always sick every month, back and forth to the doctor. She has another infection. Now she has a double ear infection. This is getting really bad. What's going on,
Nobody could figure it out.
Nobody could figure it out. So I open up the Yellow Pages, find a mold testing company, mold assessor, call them in. They do the tests. And, the guy asked me some questions. He says, you're renting here, right? And I said, yeah, I'm renting here. He says, do me yourself a favor. Do you think your landlord is going to do what's necessary to get this cleaned up in a jiffy so that your daughter doesn't have these adverse reactions? And I said, my rent's pretty good. I don't know. He said, do yourself a favor. Leave today and don't ever come back. That's exactly what I did. I called my wife. She was at work. I said, honey, I don't want to ruin your day, but we're moving out tonight. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I just got the test results. We're moving out tonight. Luckily,
That's how
by
bad
the
it was.
grace of God, we had a place to go. We had a place. We had a family member who had like a condo that they weren't using. It was seasonal. We go there, we live there, and we were saved. Where it's like it was saved as far as like we had a place to go. Some people don't
Yeah, of
have
course.
that option to be able to be like, we're packing up and leaving today.
Yeah.
But thank God we did.
Thank God.
And from that point forward,
Or walk around your house with a hazmat suit on.
right,
That was really-
exactly. I mean, it was getting really bad, really bad.
Was it the bad mold? I know there's no such thing. as
It
good mold,
was.
but-
See, mold can, everyone has different reactions to mold.
Yep.
So even mold that one person does not have a reaction to, a second or third person will have a
Tight, you
reaction
throw
to
it
that.
up, all kinds of shit.
Exactly. So with that, that's where my obsession came in. Because I'm already when I'm focused on something, I'm very focused on that. I want to know all the answers of it. I want to know the answers behind the answers, before the answers. So that's where, soon after we moved into our home where we live in now, same neighborhood, but just the other side of town, And from the get-go, I've always been this person, because of that experience with my daughter, of being very alert and aware of what's going on.
Wow.
Under the roof, in the foundation, in the attic, behind the walls, with the electrical. Like, I want to know that everything is as safe as humanly possible because of that experience with that mold and my daughter being sick for 10 months. And she still has, issues now.
I was going to ask you, did it clear up a lot, or?
She has a speech. We're working on, with some speech therapists, because she still has, that delay in, not speech, but she pronounces certain words in a certain way because she did not have hearing for the first year and a half of her life.
Holy shit.
She had clogged ears, double ear infections for the first, up until she was 1.5 years old when we moved out of that house.
Insane.
So she still has some of those, after effects now. And so the obsession of wanting to know and wanting to be as safe as possible, providing the safest possible household that I could for my family. 3 years ago, when my emotional side really was at stake, when I talked about people that, clients of mine that I put my heart and soul into doing the job. And then you move down to Virginia and then you ghost me. I take that personal, man. I know some people won't, and some people in this business have a really good handle on that. I take that personally.
You took it personally.
And I couldn't do it anymore. That's when my wife said to me, I don't like you that much when you're in real estate mode, because I was becoming this, I was reacting to that feeling that I was having. And I was like, I need to switch things up, and I need to go where my passion is. My passion was two things. My passion was kind of with my obsession, wanting to be able to provide information and education to people. But something else switched in me where, because I'm still involved in real estate, I'm still involved in sales end, but I'm not out there competing with other agents. I just do my book of business. I work with my sphere of influence, and that is it.
That's it.
Take a ticket and get on a long line if you want to work with me other than that. But I put all my energy and care and love aside from that into the home inspection business, because quite honestly, it's a different interaction with the human public. It's a 2 or 4 hour interaction where if they abandon me, that's okay. They're supposed to do that. This is a 2 hour transaction, 2 hours on home inspection, 2 hours writing the report, and then the follow up afterwards to answer any questions. But it has a defined beginning and it has a defined end, and I expect that person is going to disappear into the sunset on a happy note. Having a good home inspection and a happy life in their new home. Either way. And I don't need to be there for it. I'm just happy to be involved in the education part and putting all my energy into that for them at that time, and reserving the love that I have to give on a long-term basis strictly for my sphere of influence people and the people that will hang up the phone and say, "Can't I love you? Goodbye."
Well,
and I can say the same.
This has been awesome. This flew by.
Yeah.
Wow, this really did fly by. Brother, I love you.
You too, brother.
I really do. You know that.
You too, man.
This was great. Learned a lot about you. If there's anything I can do, you know where to call me.
Absolutely. You too, man.
And just stay you, brother.
Yeah, definitely.
Be good,
That's
man.
all I